Hello, mystics. Welcome to pillar number 2 of the Art of the Mystic course. This one is all about your internal language. So, when we talk about being a mystic, of course, if you're taking this class, you're already a natural mystic. That's a given. But when we talk about the art of the mystic, as we said in pillar 1, that's been kind of like combed out of us, bred out of us, traumatized out of us during these past several hundreds of years, thousands, I think. So really what we're doing here is figuring out an art, making it an art, not making it a discipline, not making it something that you beat yourself up over, but an art. And like any art, if you activate it and if you invite it in, it can develop and it can be more beautiful than if you just wait till it comes to you. Like anything, like exercise, the first couple times you exercise, if you haven't exercised in a while, it's a pain in the ass. But then that third or fourth time you feel those endorphins start flowing and then it's easy for you to keep it up. Similar thing. I've also heard a quote about the muse, the muse that brings inspiration to artists and creators. And I've heard that it's not that she will always come every time you make her a space, but muses love to be prepared to have space prepared for them. So if you do prepare a space, she will come much more easily. So that said, let's dive into the second pillar. Okay, first off, I would love to tell you guys what I experienced in the first pillar, and I wonder if you've experienced similar things. Feel free to go and write them in our forum if you have. So one thing I experienced was, as I would meditate, as I was allowing myself to just empty my mind of all thoughts, I was feeling so much energy come in and I was feeling myself get fueled up. I've told you that before in the last video and the little bonus video in the first pillar, but that kept happening more and more and more. And then as I would tune in throughout the day to what I was feeling, to the behind the scenes, I would notice that things that were bothering me in my physical world, like in my 3D real world, and they were only a low level of tension that I wouldn't even have noticed had I not been tuning in. But when I tuned into that deeper wisdom, that deeper knowledge, even though right now, since we're just starting out, I was only making sure it felt like an empty space. I wasn't diving super deep in or trying to get out info, really. All the stuff that was bugging me, even the little micro tensions, just fell away, just blossomed away. And that was freaking lovely, I will tell you what. Okay, so let's see where to start. I have all these notes. I've got all my notebooks here ready to be taken and put in this video. So, all right, first thing to do, begin recording your dreams. Here's how to do it. Before you go to bed at night, set an intention. Say, brain, remember the dreams. Remember my dreams. And I know we were doing a little of this before, but now you really want to dig in because intuition is really hidden in dreams. There's so much information in dreams that comes. So when you wake up in the morning, write down whatever you get, and then here's how you analyze your dreams. Also, 2 more things. Set your alarm clock a little earlier and put the pen in the book. Put the pen already in the book. So all you have to do is roll over and grab it and write. And if you have to turn on your light on your cell phone, or if you have to light a little flashlight or whatever, you can do that. So here's how to analyze your dreams. Write it down, step away from it for a little while, go do whatever you got to do, and then later when you come back to it, have it be the same day, but when you come back to it, spend some time thinking about, okay, not exactly what was going on in the dream, but how you felt in the dream, what your emotions were like in the dream, what your thought landscape was like in the dream. And so distill that out of what was going on. Say, okay, well, I felt X, Y, and Z. So for instance, I just had a dream today that I was kind of in a Harry Potter-ish universe, and there was some nefarious non-physical being that was coming through, and I was having to kind of look at it and find it and gear up to battle it. And so I woke up and I was like, okay, since for me, I know this is you guys' rest day, but for me, I'm going into the second pillar so I can guide you through it. For me, I was like, all right, so where do I feel like that in my real life? I don't feel like anything's trying to come get me. However, when I realized I wasn't scared. I kind of went into my warrior mode and I'm like, okay. I felt confident about my ability to like get shit done and handle that thing. And so I realized that in my waking life, I have a bunch of stuff going on for 2018. It could be kind of overwhelming with all the stuff I have to do, or I'm choosing to do, I want to do. And so going into that warrior mindset is going to let me do it a lot easier. So that was that. And I was like, okay, no, I got this. It's cool. So that's an example. But the idea is you take away the emotion and put it with what's coming. All right. So Also, select your nature spot. This is one of mine. I have two that I'm going to go back and forth between. This is one of them, and then the other one is across town in Falls Park in Greenville. And what you do is you go in your nature spot, select your nature spot and time for each day. So you want to probably give it about an hour from beginning to end, so it's time to now get some more time out of your schedule and go into your nature spot. And when you're there, you want to be there for at least 15 minutes. So it doesn't have to be a super long time. If it's less than an hour, that's fine. But 15 minutes in your nature spot. And when you're in your nature spot for 15 minutes, put your phone on airplane mode, set the clock for 15. And while you're there, just drop fully into your 5 senses. What do you see, hear, smell, taste, touch? What is around? What do you see? And what you'll notice, like I was just studying this tree before I got started, what you'll notice is that as you allow yourself to just tune in to this nature, just allow it to fill your senses up, it's like something is scrubbing out your energy. It's like something is scrubbing out your brain. This is what nature is meant to do. It's meant to clean us out. It's meant to realign us. And so what you'll probably feel are the stuff that clutters you up, just falling away, just melting away. And that's the idea, because next we're going to start plugging into nature more and letting it nourish us and letting it give us information. So right now, though, in this second pillar, you just want to make sure that you're learning to plug in, which is 5 senses. Just go with it and just allow yourself to learn, and something different will happen every day. Record what that is at night. Okay, your journaling topics are, first off, and you can do one of these each day or you can come back to them. Just do what feels right for you. And this is what to do in the morning and or at night. You're still going to be meditating in the morning, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second, because you need to do this first. So your first journaling topic is, how do you connect? How do you spiritually connect? Think about times in your life when you are most spiritually tuned in. What is it like? What does it feel like? When does it happen? Can you see a thread that goes between? For instance, for me, it tends to be when I'm out in nature, when things are silent. It can be when I'm inside, but usually if other people are around, I'm not spiritually connected, with one exception that I'll tell you. I'm not as spiritually connected as I am when I'm alone, because it's like I can hear better, I can see better. And it's this silent, sacred thing that comes upon me, and it feels so beautiful and invigorating, and it feels right. I think because I've just been a priestess in so many lifetimes, and also I'm one in this lifetime, and one of my big beauties and struggles in this lifetime is figuring out how to do that in this modern world. So it's that silent, sacred space that feeds my spirit. And the other time I feel most spiritually connected is when I'm working, when I'm doing a reading or a session or hosting a workshop, because all my human bullshit gets moved out of the way, and I can just be a full channel for divine frequency with the Charis flavor. I don't let anything come in and use my body like some channels do, but I do let myself connect and kind of be a conduit, not a direct link, you know. Okay. So that's the first thing. How do you spiritually connect? What does it feel like? When does it happen? The second thing is, how do you remember? Think about, for instance, your first day of school, your first date, or your first kiss. Major things in your life. Think back on them. And what do you remember? What of the 6 senses? So that's seeing, tasting, hearing, touching, smelling, and feeling emotions. So for me, for instance, I tend to have 3, 2 main and then 1 on the back end. Mine is mainly visual and emotional, with a little bit of tactile on the back end. So when I think about things, when I remember things, usually I'll see it and I'll feel it. And I might feel the tactile touch a little bit. So the reason that we need to know that is because that's how your intuition will come. That's how your visions will come. So really take some time as you journal these next few days 5 to 7, and spend time thinking about how this works for you. Okay, next. This is a really important one. As mystic, you get to choose what world you live in. And when I mean that, I mean, so say for instance, when I'm in Los Angeles and I go meditate on the beach every morning at dawn, which is one of my things that I do when I'm there. So I choose to live in certain worlds and not to live in certain worlds. A world I choose not to live in is the world of handbags. Some people that really matters to what brand name your handbag is. I respect that, whatever. Who am I to say what's divine or not? I just don't really care about that world, so I choose not to live in it. The world I do choose to live in is energy workers and healers for the planet, the internet world, clearly. So what worlds are you choosing to live in? That's something to journal about, because that will help you align so much. Some of the blocks to us being mystics is thinking that we're going to be exiled. But if we're exiled from shit that we don't care about, doesn't matter. And also, once you just let go of that, probably won't be exiled anyway. You would be amazed to see how people you thought would not be cool with this are. Okay, so your assignment this week, your big assignment is, after your 4-minute meditation, bring it up to 4 minutes, and again, you're just clearing your mind and waiting for stuff to come in. Ask yourself before this, and then write what is important info using those senses that you got when you did the memory journaling that will enhance my journey throughout this day. What do I need to know? What do I need to know? Write it down. It can be as ephemeral as you need. Write it down, and then at night when you do that last 15 minutes, check your accuracy. See what happened during that day. Write it down. So yeah, that's your assignment for Pillar 2. You're figuring out your own personal internal language and seeing how to use your intuition. We're all different. And so the idea is to, in order to have your art of the mystic get activated, you need to go cleanse yourself out in nature. You need to analyze your dreams and get your own internal language understood. All right, sending you guys so much love. Mwah. I will send you another email at the end of day 7. So then I will get you started on day 8, which will be our 3rd pillar. And I love you guys. Thank you for doing this with me. And I'll see you again very soon. Mwah.